Hello, my friends. Jacob is here. Thank you for pressing play and for spending some time with me. Thank you for subscribing. And I feel like Tiny Tim walking around hobbling around the house with my crutches. I just had surgery. And I want to thank all of you who took the time to, send me a little email or a little comment or a little, send me a little prayer or send me out your positive vibes. I know a lot of you didn't even know that I was going in for surgery. Get away, crutch. I don't need no crutch, just a crutch. That's what they keep telling me. Stop using that as it's a crutch. It's an excuse. I don't know. I'm on some medication too. All right, I'm still in a lot of pain, but I'm going to get through it. I wasn't looking forward to the surgery. And for a while it went largely undiagnosed because of my ankylosing spondylitis. They thought that that's basically what the pain was all about, even though I was limping since like August and I knew there was more to it. Turns out I messed up my meniscus. So they had to go in there and they had to fix it and scrape it and get rid of the arthritis and do this and do that. And I don't remember talking to the doctor afterwards because I don't handle the anesthesia very well. I wake up and I don't remember where I am at all. In fact, it's pretty interesting because that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is a program that is an important one because there is an outbreak, which you may not have even heard of, but this is like frightening. There's a mysterious epidemic right now. There is an outbreak of amnesia, and it all happened in this one area in Massachusetts. About 14 cases so far have been presented, and the C.D.C. is up in arms about it. And there's a reason they're up in arms about it, because it is linked to something that doctors around the country and around the world prescribe on a regular basis. It may be linked to that, which messes me up a little bit considering I was prescribed something very similar right when I got out of surgery. And I don't recommend it. I don't do very well with the painkillers. They make me a little nauseous, a little upset to my tummy. But today's program, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the rise in dementia and Alzheimer's and dementia in patients that are around my age. This is an important topic, people. And the reason it's important is because all of these, cognitive diseases, this horrible thing called dementia, it's all linked to stuff that's in our environment or in our food or being prescribed on a regular basis. So it's something that we all need to look at. And we got to wonder, is there more to it than we are being told? Is there something behind this epidemic that no one seems to care too much about because it's not making major news yet? But I'm going to be shouting it to the rooftops because we got to hold on to our memories. They are precious, and we got to help those people that are going through this whole thing called dementia, because it just devastates families and it tears the very fabric of who you are away from you in this world. And the good news is there is more to you, more than your memories, more than what you are going through right now. And we are going to get to the bottom of that, and we are going to talk about how we can rise above it all. All that and more on today's program. So buckle up, people, because the amnesia epidemic is about to go down. All right, so researchers, seems like they're frantic, right? One paper after another is being written, and never before have they seen early onset of dementia in the numbers. I mean, it's staggering. Dementia in patients as young as myself. I'm 45, and I have a tendency of forgetting things at times, but this disease, it is affecting so many more people, and it is linked to a lot of things that we have no control over. In fact, dementia right now is linked to traffic. Oh, that's right. Okay, Hung Chen Public Health Ontario and his team studied the possible correlations between living near a busy road and suffering from memory loss and dementia. I mean, they're doing this large-scale study, and they found that if you're near traffic, or if you're in, say, a large urban area, or in a metropolitan city like New York, and you're subjected to a lot of that madness all the time, and your mind doesn't get a chance to relax and to find that rest that it so desperately needs, well, guess what? You have a high risk of having dementia and forgetting everything that mattered to you in this world. It's a serious disease, dementia. It's nothing to joke about. People's lives have been torn apart. Families have lost loved ones. They've watched the people they love just disappear right before their eyes. Relationships that were years in the making, forgotten. The signs are simple, you know. Obviously, you start to get forgetful. You know, it's more than just forgetting where you put your keys. It's more than just forgetting where you are. Sometimes waking up, oh, where am I? I remember when I was traveling on the road, you go from one city to another city to another city, and you kind of forget what city you're in. But that's not the kind of memory loss we're talking about. We're talking about all of a sudden people forgetting, you know, to shower, to bathe, to eat. They forget how to care for themselves, which is why a lot of the people in the late stages of, say, Alzheimer's or dementia, they need long-term care. It's a terrible disease. And what's worse about this is the fact that it's on the rise. Now, why is this horrible disease on the rise? Why, you say? Some people say that it is connected to pollution and the pesticides that are put into our foods. Studies have proven there's a higher incidence of this. Not just that, but also shellfish. Yeah, that's right. Believe it or not, yes, because of the warming of the waters. As the waters are warming around the world, what's happening is it triggers a rise in a toxin that is in oysters or in shellfish in general. And this is a huge health hazard to humans, and they're not making a big deal out of it. They're not telling you all about it, but they're finding that there are these levels, what is it called? Domiac acid in shellfish. It's a neurotoxin, okay? Now it's produced by marine algae, and it accumulates in algae-eating animals, shellfish. See, here's the problem though. People who consume shellfish, they have high levels of it already in their system, and they're at risk of poisoning. It's called DAP, domiac acid poisoning, and it's also called amnesic shellfish poisoning. And now they're finding that this neurotoxin is, it's being produced in massive results. Kind of puts the hamper on that Friday night oyster binge when you know you and your lady are having that special night. You might not want to, you might want to stick to PB&J and almond milk like me and my lady. Because that's how we get things hopping here at the Israel house. Anyway, look. A lot of the reasons that we all suffer from the diseases that we suffer from is because large corporations that, they find these loopholes and they do things that are quite illegal and quite detrimental to public health. And this is why we see so many lawsuits being, sent out against corporations like this. They get a little slap on the hand. They pay a little fine. No one ever goes to jail, regardless of how many people lost their lives. Well, this whole thing, this strange outbreak of amnesia that was found in Massachusetts, well, it's linked to a certain type of drug. So what they've found now, and we're going to get right into that, is that this memory loss, this amnesia, this strange outbreak, may be linked to opioids, because that's one thing that these 14 cases had in common, was opioid abuse. And I got to tell you, I know a lot of you watching right here, you may be taking these drugs yourself. You may be using these drugs yourself. Right now, I don't even like taking stuff like this, but I had to. And I can tell you, when you take these things, you have to be so careful because they are so incredibly addictive. And your life can be ruined just like this, once it gets out of control, because it attaches to you and you become a slave to it. And it's because of body chemistry. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's not because you're a weak person. It's because the drug was designed to hook you. Just like a lot of the foods that we're given, and that are sent out to lure in children, sugars and all of these things that they put into our foods, like tobacco. Remember with tobacco, where they had doctors smoking cigarettes? They know this. They want us all hooked. And now people are losing themselves, quite literally, because of it. Let me read this to you. So basically, in Massachusetts, this case gives credible leads as to what's behind the epidemic, okay? So in the beginning, they didn't really know why people were coming in. And we're talking, they were given simple things to remember, like they were said, here, remember this, cup of coffee, right? A couple minutes later, they couldn't even remember. They couldn't even remember the conversation. Their short-term memory was poof, gone. These people all shared this in common. It was short-term memory loss. Now, under the MRI, it looked like their brain, their hippocampus, I believe it was like just blown out, because it cut off blood flow to that area, which means that the brain, basically the part of the brain that we need to survive so that we can function in this world, just literally just died. And the cause? They're linking to opioids, drugs like Oxycontin, one of the most abused drugs on the planet today. Even though they said it was the least addictive of the painkillers. Is that right? So Dementia said it's possible that there may be a new contaminant in these drugs that people are unfamiliar about, and that may be causing the damage. Until the Massachusetts cases, it was very rare to see a combination of memory loss and the type of brain damage they saw on these MRIs, which showed reduced blood flow to the hippocampus, like I was saying earlier, the part of the brain that turns information into memories so that you can function. You learn. Basically, you can't learn anymore. You almost think to yourself, is this something that's being orchestrated in like little test markets? Let's get everybody hooked on this drug and let's just slip some stuff in there to mess with them. I don't know. I hate to even, I'm a little bit off today because of all I've been through, and I hate to be bringing up stuff like this and get people thinking that maybe there's some big nefarious plan to make us all just, zombies. But isn't that what they're doing with the stuff they're putting into our foods? Isn't that what they're doing with these doctors that are prescribing this medication for, you got a little back pain. Oh, here you go, take some Oxycontin. Next thing you know, you're hooked on it. I have family members that I know of, friends of mine that I know of, whose lives, they've been ruined because of this stuff. And there's, all we can do is educate ourselves, people. And now, with this tie right here, we're not even talking like you may not need to abuse it. You just use it a little bit and then boom, you could be forgetting who you are, The patients were able to remember past events, but new information slipped away quickly, Dementia explained. They failed a memory test in which they were shown 3 common objects, and they were asked to recall minutes later. They couldn't remember it. They were at home, they remembered familiar places, but they couldn't recall how to get around in those familiar places. They could understand the rules of a certain game, but they didn't remember how to play it. Man, it's like a nightmare, this whole thing. It's like a nightmare, And that's what it is. It is a nightmare. It's a nightmare for those that are going through it. It's a nightmare for those, those that are watching their loved ones go through it. And as I said earlier, it's linked to all of these things. I mean, you can't really get away from it. So what can we do? Well, there's things that we can do. We can eat foods that help our cognitive thinking. We can, eat healthier foods. Stay away from foods that contain GMO. I don't know if you knew, I did a show on GMOs. If you haven't watched it, watch it. But right now, they're about to put apples on the market that never brown. They're calling 2017 the CRISPR year because of this gene editing. They're editing everything. They're growing human body parts in animals. This world it's going to hell in a handbasket a lot quicker. It's quite backwards, and they're not paying attention to the effects of all of these advances in science and medicine. So let's talk about Big Pharma and their generous contribution to the deaths and lives that have been ruined, hundreds of thousands of which since, Oxycontin was first released on the market. Opioid-involved deaths continue to increase in the United States, and the majority, 6 out of 10 of them, Oxycontin, since 1999. We're talking mortality rates more than quadrupled, and it's continuing to go up. Purdue Pharma and its president, they were, I guess a couple of years back, they were ordered to pay $634 million in fines for claiming that their drug was less addictive and less subject to abuse than any other pain medicine. And while they were doing this, they were also sending all of their reps on major trips, and they were, giving perks to doctors, and they were trying to get everybody. They've spent millions and millions of dollars to make this drug sound like it is the #1 best drug on the market today, and it worked. So worldwide, terrible disease that is now affecting so many people. People to the left of you, people to the right of you, maybe you yourself. And it's so hard to get this monkey off your back, but you can. You can do it. And you need to if you're going through it. You need to find some help. And you need bigger help than yourself. I mean, it's not just about your strength. Even though you are strong enough, you need a support system. And you need to have faith that you can get out of this place that you're in. And you can get out of this place that you're in. I've been through, things like this myself. I've struggled with things that are hard to rid myself of. And yet, here I stand talking to you today, a better man, a stronger man, a happier man, a healthier man. And you can do that too. With faith, all things are possible. And that's all you need. All you need to do is believe that you can have a better day. Life is not easy. It's never been easy. And, for the people that suffer with Oxycontin abuse, see, the problem is, and here in Long Island, it is a major epidemic. It is heroin. And I wanted to talk about that because Afghanistan produces something like 90% of the heroin that comes into the States. How does it get here? You wonder, considering we're basically over everything that goes on in that country. And people say that the CIA is in charge of that because, in 2001, the Taliban basically got rid of. They said no more of poppy growth, no more of this stuff. And then we went in, and it went from being one of the smallest contributors to the world's opium and heroin to being the largest contributor in the world of heroin. There are some scary powers that be that are behind the scenes that want all of us, like the zombies that were found in Massachusetts recently. There are people that want us all to just basically get in line. They want us weak. They want us dependent on a system to provide. They want us meek. They want us stupid. And they want us miserable and depressed. Because if you're depressed, you're more likely to abuse. If you're down in the dumps, you're less likely to stand up for what is right and to help your fellow man. But I am telling you, people, there is a better way. You are more than you know. You are stronger than you've ever been. The fact that you are where you are right now, even though you may think that you are weak, even though you may think that you have failed, you're here. And you're here now because that is how amazing you are. Everything you've been through, everything you've struggled with, everything you're struggling with right now, and you're still here. And you have a choice. And you can make that choice. Don't let the world convince you into making the choice that robs your life away. Make the choice to live and to have life and a more abundant life. You can do it. All you got to do is quiet yourself and say, help me. You don't got to say it to somebody. You just got to say, I know that I can be helped. I know that I can be saved from this position that I'm in. I know that I can be delivered from where I am. Help me. That help will come. It's come from me, and it'll come for you. You're stronger than you know, and you can do all things. You just have to believe it. So, I know this show wasn't a crazy one. Look, I am not 100%. I want to thank you for taking the time watching it anyways, and look more into this. And for those of you that are, they're suffering with abuse, I want to let you know that I love you, and I know that you're going to get through this. And for those of you that are suffering with dementia-related disease, it's not the end. There are great treatments that are available today, and things can get better, and they will get better. And a positive outlook, that's what they said. A positive outlook is the number one way to combat the effects of this disease. Because the negative mind will always destroy the heart and the soul of the individual. Being negative is also a reason people forget things. Being depressed, being sad. But being filled with joy and filled with life. New neural pathways form in the brain, and you can overcome all things. In any event, thank you. Please do subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you probably in a couple of days because I'm going to be laid up for a while, and I will talk to each and every one of you soon, and I love you all. Bye-bye.